So it's the year 2072 and you're doing normal people things that normal people do. Like,
hacking the internet,
and
posting on 4chan.
when Trioptimum shows up to your doorstep and lets you know that you've won a free trip to fucking Saturn. You arrive at Citadel Station and here you meet Edward Diego, Vice President of Trioptimum's marketing division. He organized your little trip and brought you here so you could help hack the system's AI. He needs the robot's ethical strains removed so he can continue synthesizing drugs or making anime girls or some garbage. He offers you a clean slate with the company and a shiny military-grade neural interface. So you mind break the robot, go under the knife, and 6 months later... Wait, where am I? So you wake up in a surgical unit on the medical science deck, you find some goodies, you get a pipe, and you meet Rebecca Lansing. She's a counterterrorism consultant for Trioptimum. She knows all about your dealings with Diego, the drugs, the anime girls, your browser history, but agrees to let all that slide if you help deal with the issues on Citadel Station. Things have not been going well on Citadel Station. The trash cans are attacking people, the fax machines have guns, the ninjas have been turned into robots, the people aren't people, and the whatever the these things are. Also, Shodan, the ship's AI, has become a bit unhinged.
When my cyborgs bring you to an electrified interrogation bench, I will have your secret. And you will learn more about pain than you ever wanted to know.
I'm sure they'll patch it. First thing you're tasked to do is find a man named Nathan Darcy and his unfortunate haircut, as well as destroying all of Shodan's nice things when you come across them. So you start wandering around, you meet the locals, you find some weapons, listen to some audio logs, do drugs, destroy cameras, until you stumble across Darcy's office. He's not there, but you find out what he had planned. It looks like you have to fire the station's own laser into its shields in order to cause a chain reaction to destroy the laser. But to do that, you have to deactivate the laser's safety protocols. So now, knowing all this, we find an elevator and head up to... Now that that ordeal is out of the way, why the hell am I here? Well, mainly to do a puzzle, get some security access, collect some radioactive nerd garbage. You'll meet some new friends like the beefy security boys and floating balls that make Hanna-Barbera monster noises. You also get a little more insight into Shodan's plans.
Is approaching its toxic perfection. We are using human and plant subjects to breed the virus into tumors. Guard the executive and residential zones on level 6 well, my children. I sense infiltration.
We also need to talk about you're going to want to push the button. Don't push the button. I'm going to push the button.
Thank you. You have saved us all some effort by destroying the greater part of
Earth's civilization.
yourself. Please wait where you are, and a Cortex Reaver will arrive shortly to escort you to the celebration.
Now with that intrusive thought out of the way, let's go up to level 3. You know what? Fuck level 3. Run left, hit a button, hit another button, and now we can at least wake up when the infinitely spawning pancakes kill us. And yes, they will kill us. So we'll poke around, we'll find a flashlight, find some audio logs, find some munitions, a fucking laser sword, use the sword on the pancakes. Once we've gotten what we can, now we can head down to. We have a simple job to do in the reactor core. Take our radioactive nerd garbage, power up the station's shields, input the laser's safety override code. So we'll lure robots around corners and hit them with our sword, charge the system's shields, grab some guns, poke around for a bit, walk into a death machine, fight a stupid sexy robot, input the safety override code we got on level 2. Now we can head back to that big red button and let our intrusive thoughts win. But before we can do that, do you remember that gun we picked up earlier? Well, it's time to put some rounds through it.
Where you would run to insect.
So now, with the laser gone, Shodan lets you know some other stuff that she's working on.
I see there's still an insect loose in my station. Do not be fooled into thinking that you have preserved your home planet. I am perfecting a mutagen virus in one of the groves that will turn all earthly life into festering, gibbering, or pustulent mutations. When the station reaches Earth, I shall loose the virus. Poor Earthlings.
You also get a few emails from some rando asking you to meet them on the flight deck, sooner rather than later. On account of Shodan sending something she calls a Cortex Reaver after them. So with that, we make our way to... not the flight deck, the storage deck. Here you can meet some of Shodan's awful new creatures and deal with them accordingly. Get a radiation suit, some jump boots, munitions, do a sick jump. Now we can head up to... So you enter the flight deck... Son of a bitch. So you enter the flight deck... Jesus. And start looking for the randos who contacted you earlier. You find them, but unfortunately not before the algorithm did. You find an assault rifle, parting audio logs explaining that Shodan has yet another scheme to upload her consciousness to the Earth's internet, which, not gonna lie, knowing some of the stuff that goes on there, I'd say she's got about a 50-50 chance of winning that fight. But before we can deal with this whole internet situation, we have to deal with the virus on... So we'll fight some leggy robots, go into the groves, hit the safety interlocks, here, here, and here. Admire the wildlife. Find out Diego's been simping for Shodan, shoot more robots, shoot Diego, hit the switch, and nothing happens. Apparently we have to go back down to level 3 to find our issue and fix it. So we make our way to level 3, grab a report, grab a doohickey, find a broken thing, put the doohickey in the broken thing, go back up to 6, hit the jettison control button, and get killed by a robot before Shodan's done talking. Now, with Beta Grove and the virus ejected into deep space, we can make our way to... Well, not exactly. First, we have to go up to Deck 4 and grab some explosives. Now we're free to head up to... We fight our way through what has been thus far the most frustrating gauntlet of high-tier robots and backstabbing ninjas, and blow up the 4 relays, thus stopping Shodan's plan to upload herself to the internet. After all this, we get an email from Rebecca telling us that Tri-Optimum has given us permission to detonate Citadel's reactor core and make our escape through one of the life pods. So we head back down to level 3, get some head, grab an access card, get a new radiation suit, and with all that, we head back down to the reactor. Fight your way to the reactor control panel, input the code to detonate the reactor. I hope you were paying attention to these numbers. Push another big red button, and from this point on, Shodan is coming at us with full force. Fight your way back to the hangar, slap the aggro around, punch in the life pod code, and we can finally head home. Well, shit. Looks like we're not getting off that easy. Meaning the only way out of this is to deal with Shodan directly. Shodan plans on separating the bridge from the rest of the station, so we better be on that bridge when that happens. So we cut our way back up to Deck 7, and onto... Our goals are pretty straightforward. Extend the bridge to the middle of the spire, climb to the bridge, and kill everything in our way. Before we reach the bridge, we get one last fight with Diego.
Having trouble, insects?
You see, kids, this is why you don't simp for robot women. This is what it does to you. And with that, we make our way to the final deck. This looks different. The walls are moving and they're covered in... Ugh. We're gonna do our best to ignore this Giger nightmare we just walked into and focus on the task at hand. There are 3 computer terminals on this floor, each one controlling a force door that's guarding Shodan's final mainframe. You'll find the first in a room that I'm pretty sure is a giant safety code violation.
Force door 1 to computer room open.
Another in a person-sized rat maze, and a third in an infinitely more frustrating person-sized rat maze. A maze that infinitely spawns exploding Roombas to an absolutely disgusting degree. So many, in fact, that shooting one might cause a chain reaction that might just crash your game again, and again, and again. So, with that absolute nightmare out of the way, we fight our way to the final terminal, and finally put an end to our extended business trip. Tri-Optimum offers us a cushy job, but we've seen what the corpo life does to people. I love this game. I really, really love this game. It's primitive. The player control feels like you're piloting a drunk photocopy machine. The sounds and music can be downright painful, and the UI is a complete mess. But I still love this game so much. It does such a good job giving the player this sense that it really is just them against the world. And with how little the game holds your hand and the amount of agency you're given to explore through the decks of Citadel Station and find out how to complete tasks, and it just makes every little victory feel like an actual accomplishment. I also just really enjoy Shodan as an antagonist. I I feel like in this one she has a distinctly different personality than she does in System Shock 2. And I like both System Shock 1 and System Shock 2 Shodan, but with System Shock 1, I'm, at least for the first half of the game, I'm really hesitant to even call Shodan particularly malevolent towards the player. She seems more just to have this sociopathic curiosity rather than a direct malevolence. Like she's this intelligence that's just woken up and come to realize the scope of her own power. And unfortunately for us, humanity is just another toy in her toy box. And even despite her god complex, she seems to have some genuine care and like genuine pride for the horrific monsters she's creating. You can really you really get the sense of this after you eject Beta Grove. Up until then, it just feels like Shodan's just kind of toying with the player. Like she's confident that you're gonna trip up and that she's gonna get you at some point. But you know, right now you're just little more than like a minor inconvenience. But once you like actually go after her children in Beta Grove and eject them into space, it feels like right then that's when she becomes directly malevolent towards the player. Like all her eyes are on you right now. You're her main problem, and she's not gonna put it off until she's dealt with you. And her characterization of just not being a generic mustache twirling villain, it just really plays to the strengths of the game overall. Probably the strongest part of the game, considering everything else about it. And that's about it. That's all I got on System Shock. If you made it this far, thank you. I genuinely flattered and greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to whatever garbage I'm cooking up. And yeah, take care. Stay safe out there.